right, first things first. We factor. Factor this first denominator. What's the common factor between p squared and p?
P squared. Just P.
Just p by itself.
P squared, but wouldn't you multiply it by P?
So we get p times p plus 1. Now I have let me focus this a little bit better. Now I have p squared plus p. That's going to be another p times p plus 1. And then I have p plus 1. So what's my denominator? From the beginning, from the first denominator, I have p times p plus 1. So that guy's got to be in there. Same thing here, right? And same thing, p, I'm just missing one part to it. So this is good. Now what are my restrictions? Yeah, p can't be 0 and p plus 1 can't be 0. So p can't be equal to negative 1. So that's when I get my solution, I'm going to compare it against 0 and negative 1, and hopefully I won't get the different values. So now I'm going to multiply by the common denominator. And sometimes I like to do this, p times p plus 1. All right, so now we have to go through, first off, is everybody okay with that? We found our denominator, we found our restrictions, and now I'm multiplying every term by the denominator that we found. Now, what can I divide out in the first term? Okay.
Plus 1 and p.
Yeah, the p plus 1 and the p. So I can divide out the entire denominator, and I'll be left with p plus 5. Now, what can I do with the second guy? Well, that's an equal sign, so make sure you put your equal signs. What can I do with the second one?
Everything will stay all one.
The everything. And so everything's gone except for 1. That's nice. Now, the p plus 1 and the p plus 1 is gone, so this is going to be plus p times p minus 6. This was a good one to do here. So I have to distribute here. So I'll get p plus 5 is equal to 1 plus p squared minus 6p. Now, since I see p squared, I know it's quadratic. So I'm going to have to do the ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 and either factor it or use the quadratic formula. So hopefully we can factor this and not have to worry too much about that. All right, so I'm going to subtract a p from here, subtract a p from here. Now, since it's quadratic, I want to get everything on one side and 0 on the other side. So what am I going to do with that plus 5? Minus 5, and then I find the like terms here. Minus 5 would be with the 1 because it's just a number. So everything's lined up in like terms. I have p's there, 5's there. Like terms are numbers there. Like terms, those are just the p's, and I have a p squared. So what's going to happen over here on the left-hand side?
0.
I'm going to get my 0, which is what I need in order to solve a quadratic equation. And since I saw that, it's quadratic. Now, I'm going to put p squared first because I want ax squared plus bx plus c. So I want it to be in the proper form. Now, I have negative 6p minus another p, negative 7p, and now I have minus 4. Yes, sir.
How do we get p squared minus 6p? Or, p times p minus 6.
When we were up here, I had a p plus 1 here, so I could divide that guy into that guy.
Oh.
So I'm left with just p times p minus 6. All right, now looking at this guy. Can I have two numbers that multiply to get to negative 4 that add up to negative 7? No. So now I can't factor it, so I have to use a quadratic formula.
That's the worst question.
So I want A to be, oh, you should have saw what we did in calculus today. You would be happy to get something like this. A is 1, right? So what's 2A? 2 times 1, which is 2. So what's B? B is the second number, which is negative 7. What's the opposite of B? 7. What's B squared? 49. And now I need 4AC. So I need 4 times A, which is 1, times negative 4, which is negative 16. And now I want B squared minus 4AC. So what was my B squared? 49 minus a negative 16, which is 49 plus 16. So that would be 59 plus 65. So it would be a total of 65. So it's 65. So now I know x is going to be equal to positive or x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
So we want negative.
So the reason why I do all of this and get these different values is because those three things get just plugged right into the equation. And so instead of putting them into here where it could be kind of messy, now I know, what's my negative b?
Negative 7, so 7.
It was 7. Plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, which was 65, all over 2a, which we figured out was 2. So now I have two answers here. I have x is equal to 7 plus the square root of 65 over 2, or x is equal to 7 minus the square root of 65 over 2. Are either one of these 1 or 0? No. These are both solutions.
That's it.
Yeah, so that's it.